kind of just fell into my mom's arms like if I was like a kid again, like I was 3 years old or something like that. It was crazy. I was so tired and like emotional. And so it was honestly it was one of the greatest days of my life.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Set the Pace, the official podcast of New York Roadrunners presented by Peloton. I am your host, Rob Simmelcare, the CEO of New York Roadrunners, and with me, Peloton instructor Becs Gentry. And Becs, happy week after marathon, and I've got to go right to saying congratulations to all the runners, 59,226 finishers of this year's TCS New York City Marathon.
Unreal. The largest marathon ever, which means every single one of those 59,226 finishers are not only TCS New York Marathon finishers, but they are world record breakers too. That is so awesome. And Rob, the numbers within that huge number are also astounding, right? The countries, 132 countries, and all 50 states. Plus DC, Puerto Rico, US Virgin Islands, and Guam. Like, this was a massively international and national collaboration of humans coming together. So from half a New York Roadrunner here to all of you, like, huge congratulations to New York Roadrunners for an epic weekend.
Thank you, Bex. And the first thing I want to say is just thank you to our incredible team at New York Roadrunners. You know, we're happy to have the largest New York City Marathon ever, the largest marathon in the world. That's all great. The numbers are great, right? But what's even better is the quality, right? The quality, not just the quantity, and the quality of experience that our runners had on Sunday. And I've seen it, I've heard it, you know, on social media, from text messages, from emails. The messages keep rolling in from people about what an incredible experience it was for them to be a part of this event. And that only happens because of an unbelievable team that we have at New York Roadrunners who, you know, is focused on every detail of executing this event, from the start to the course to the finish, from the expo to Marathon Monday after the race. I mean, everything was tied up so well. Almost everything went perfectly for us this weekend. And I'm just so proud of our team for the effort that they put into making this an incredible experience. I'm blown away by them every single year. And I think this year more than ever, blown away at what we were able to deliver for people and the life-changing experience that we were able to give so many people. So I'm very proud of the team. Congratulations to all of them. And it was just a special thing to be a part of. And Bex, you know, one of the hardest things for me is, as CEO, I'm so busy on race day. You know, I'm running around. I'm pulled in a million different directions. Mm-hmm. You are very busy on race day too, obviously, as part of the broadcast. And I wish I could be everywhere.
Same.
I wish I could be at every moment, at every single person crossing the finish line, at every great cheering location on the course, everywhere. I want to be in all the places, and I can only be in one. And so that always is hard for me. But what I do is spend days, and I'm still in the middle of it, just going through social media. This is social media at its best because it allows me to go back and see so many of these great moments that happened over the course of the day.
Absolutely. It was an unreal day. And we got to see, obviously, some incredible professional athlete performances on the day. We saw some of the most heartwarming performances of the day. And our final finishers were a huge highlight, as always. So everybody had an astounding day. But selfishly, I want to talk about the women's race because I was lucky enough to have what I deemed to be the best seat in the house, which was on the professional women's moto, right there with the elite women's field. And I got to watch just pure class in action all the way through 26.2 miles of these 5 boroughs. My jaw was just constantly on the floor from wondering whether Sifan was going to kick and come to the lead of the pack, whether Shayla Chepkirui, who was last year's champion, was going to hold it all the way to the finish and take another win. Our wonderful Sharon Lokedi, who I love and slightly biased because I just think she is just the most wonderful human on this planet. She was there leading the way in Central Park. And then that legend that is the awesome Helen Obiri. I cannot explain to you, unless you were some of those people right there in the moment on the sidelines, the kick that she mustered up was, I literally, as you can hear, I can't put it into words, how, as a runner, how incredible it was to watch her do it. Just, it looked like she was fading in her energy, and out of nowhere, she didn't take a gel. I was right there. She took nothing. She just dug so deep into her intrinsic power, and she broke out of her stride and took off from Sharon Lokedi with about a mile to go, which is gutsy at that point in the race, but especially in the TCS New York City Marathon. And she got that willpower and that determination to take her to that finish line and break a 22-year-old course record. It was just wow. And I will add, Sharon also got a course record, to be fair. She also broke the course record, but Helen, unreal. I mean, all the women, unreal. We'll go through all of the Americans who performed brilliantly that day too, but congratulations to the women's winner there, Helen Obiri.
Yeah, it was incredible. And if you go back and listen to the interview I did with Helen a little later in the day on Marathon Day on a special edition of Set the Pace, it's so interesting to hear her talk about the strategy that they had. Helen, Sharon, Sheila, they had a plan together to make sure that Sifan Hassan was not around at the end of that race, because they knew it would be tough if she was, given her speed. They were able to get the pace to a point where she just wasn't able to stay with them. And, Sharon said to me at the finish line that she felt she played a pretty big role in Helen breaking that record. It really was a team effort. So we were thrilled at Roadrunners because we knew it was time for that course record to go down. Given the weather, given the field that we had, we felt it was going to happen, and it did happen. So congratulations to Helen Obiri. Meanwhile, on the men's side, an incredible story in that finish, the closest in the history of the New York City Marathon men's open division. Benson Caputo outkicking Alexander Mutiso. At the tape, this went down to. I mean, it was incredible. And I talked to Benson during the interview on Set the Pace as well. And I asked him, did you know that Mutiso was gaining on you? Did you feel him coming? And he said he did. He knew he was coming, but he knew that he had it. And we didn't all know for sure at the finish line he had it. It was that close, but 0.03 seconds. That was the closest finish in the history of the New York Marathon on the men's side. Benson Caputo.
That's
it
track
was.
levels.
It was like track.
Yeah, it's like watching the Olympics, and you're seeing many athletes coming through that tape, shoulder to shoulder, and it comes down literally to like whose hair went first.
Yeah, the second incredibly close finish at a marathon this fall. Of course, there was a finish like that at the World Championships in Tokyo as well. So the racing was simply incredible. I think it was the best professional racing that we've ever had at the TCS New York City Marathon. So it was pretty amazing. On the wheelchair side, Marcel Hug extended his record of men's wheelchair division wins to 7. Unbelievable. I loved talking to him in that Set the Pace episode because we really talked about his challenges over the last year. He had some injuries. It sounds like he also had some real mental challenges in the last year to try to get himself motivated and be, being able to take one race at a time. He really opened up about some of the struggles he had in 2024 that got him to where he's been this year. So really got to know Marcel in a new way. Congrats to him. And of course, Susannah Scaroni. She's just really the absolute cream of the crop in the women's wheelchair division. Defended her women's wheelchair title here in New York. Her third in 4 years here in New York as well. So Susannah continues to just absolutely dominate.
She really did. Amazing performances by all of the champions there. Let's talk about the 4 American women who placed in the top 10. Again, watching Susannah Sullivan just lead the way on the bridge at the start was epic. I have such a huge amount of love for Susannah. We've had her on the podcast before, and her whole ethos of running and training is super cool. So I would check that out if you haven't. Check out that episode. But the like biggest breakthrough for me was watching Fiona O'Keefe just shine bright. She obviously was the 2024 US Olympic Marathon Trials champion. She came in 4th this weekend. She's come back from some professional disappointment, some heartbreak in Paris last summer. And you could just see with every step how strong she is, both mentally and physically. It looked like she had a blast out there, and she ran an incredible 2:22:49, which is the fastest time ever by an American woman at New York. So huge congrats to her. But she was not trailed far behind by another legend and teammate, Annie Frisbee, who came in 5th with a 2:24:12. The awesome Emily Sisson, the American record holder, with a 2:25:05. She came in 8th. And then making her marathon debut with another strong run. I mean, I saw her surge up into the middle front of the pack a couple of times, testing herself out, but she knocked it out of the park for her marathon debut. Amanda Vestry, she came in 9th with a 2:25:40. So to all of them and all of the other American women who ran the whole race, and all of the women full stop who ran the race, thank you for showing us how strong the whole female crew are.
Yes, absolutely. A great, great day on the women's side. On the men's side, for Americans, 3 American men finished in the top 10. Joel Ryko finished 6th, 2:09:56. Charles Hicks, 7th, 2:09:49. And Joe Klecker, 10th at 2:10:37. By the way, both Hicks and Klecker making their marathon debuts and finishing in the top 10. So pretty good for the guys as well. Congratulations to them. But most of all, just congratulations to every single one of that 59,226. And lastly, I want to say thank you, New York.
Yes.
Because all the runners at the finish line just kept telling me over and over again how incredible the crowds were this year. We're used to great crowds, but people who'd run it many times told me that they felt there was just something different about the crowds this year. There was an energy, there was an excitement, there was an atmosphere that they'd never seen before. And people always ask me, what makes New York special, the New York City Marathon special? It's New York. It is New York that does it. And once again, New York came and they showed up and they showed out and they showed what a great city this is and why we say it's the best day of the year in New York City. And once again, it really delivered. So thank you, everybody who came out and supported these runners. Well, we've got a great show today, and really one of the truly great stories of this year's TCS New York City Marathon was the star of Hamilton, as well as A House of Dynamite and In the Heights, Anthony Ramos. Anthony ran the TCS New York City Marathon this past Sunday with a very special mentor and a famous marathon champion at his side. And Anthony's experience was amazing. If you haven't seen it, go follow him on Instagram. Check out his finish line video. His mom, his sister were there. His mom gave him the medal, and you could just see the emotions that were flowing from him. A native New Yorker, ran through a lot of the neighborhoods he grew up in. This is really what it's all about, his first ever marathon. Anthony and his mentor will join us to talk about an incredible day that he had on Sunday. Then, a little later in our member moment, Sandra Garcia. She joined Anthony in the first marathon club this past Sunday, but her connection to New York Roadrunners goes way back, all the way back to 1998 and the launch of the New York Roadrunners Foundation, which today we refer to as New York Roadrunners Community Impact Programs. Sandra's here to share that story, including a pretty amazing pen pal experience later in the show. And then finally, in today's Meb Minute, Meb's got some advice on how to choose your next race if you're already ready to think about your next race. It's okay if you don't want to think about that. You just want to relax, right? Yeah. Savor it.
Savor it. Yes, I like that, Rob.
That's fine. But, we get it. A lot of people do get that post-marathon blues. Yeah. We understand that. And a lot of them immediately start trying to think of their next race. Yeah. So Meb will give you some advice on how to choose that next race. And his advice might surprise you. So stay tuned for that.
Shake Shack is proud to be the official burger of the TCS New York City Marathon, and they're happy to announce their biggest burger yet, the Big Shack. 2 100% Angus beef patties, 3 buns, a new secret sauce. It's stacked, balanced, and built the right way with 56 grams of protein. Get it today at Shake Shack.
Anthony Ramos is best known for his breakout role on Broadway in Hamilton and his starring turn in the Heights on the big screen. But this year, the Brooklyn native took on a whole new challenge, training for his first ever running race at all. It was the 2025 TCS New York City Marathon. And it wasn't just his first marathon. As I said, he'd never run in any race before. Luckily, he did not do it alone. Running beside him was Jason Jacobs, his former high school guidance counselor, and one of the first people to encourage Anthony to pursue a career in the arts, along with a very special pacer, Olympian and Boston Marathon champion, Des Linden. What a pacer that is to have. Anthony joins us along with Jason today. Jason, by the way, no stranger to the marathon course. He's an accomplished runner who overcame serious health challenges to complete the 2024 Tokyo Marathon. And yesterday, he added another medal to his collection here in New York. Welcome, Anthony. Welcome, Jason.
What's up? What's up?
Congratulations on the big finish.
Yeah, man. Crazy. Unbelievable.
What a day. What a day. We have so much to talk about here, so much to unpack, not just from Sunday, but the lead up to Sunday and everything that got you both to that finish line. But let's talk about the finish line because it was magnificent. You all crossed the line together, which Jason said was intentional and planned. How did it feel to see 4:44:31, Anthony, with Jason, Des, and your team by your side? What was going through your mind?
It was I mean, I was just grateful to finish, to be honest. I was like, I hit mile 20 and I just hit a wall. Um and it just felt so good to finish. And just like Des and Des and Garrett, Garrett Heath, they were just, they were by my side the entire time. My agent Jordan Solomon, Jay was running up ahead, like he was like leading us. And it was just it's just all of us being able to stay together that whole time, and being able to finish together, like us finishing together, I think made it even sweeter. My mom just giving me that medal at the end, like my mom and my sister being at the finish line and getting to hug them, and just I kind of just fell into my mom's arms, like if I was like a kid again, like I was 3 years old or something like that. It was crazy. I was so tired and like emotional. And so it was honestly, it was one of the greatest days of my life. Like I really don't even say that like I like it I kept saying that. Like I've been texting friends, explaining to them what that day was like, and I'm like, it was probably one of the best days of my whole life. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Excited to do another one.
did I hear that just now? You're excited to do another one?
Yeah.
Is that an announcement?
100%.
All right.
Woohoo! He's
Yeah,
got the
yeah.
bug.
No
He's got
one
the
and
bug.
done here. I love it.
Nah.
Jason, from your perspective as an experienced runner, you've run this distance before. How do you think Anthony did? What was it like running alongside him?
He did fantastic for his first marathon. I'm very proud of him. He learned this is not for the faint of heart, but he finished, and that's all that matters. And he never stopped. He kept moving, even when there were periods where he walked, and I was grateful. But yeah, he kept putting one foot in front of the other and kept moving throughout. We found those hard spots like that Fifth Avenue. That slow ascent on Fifth Avenue is killer for everybody, even the pros, even myself. So it was good to walk it a little bit, But yeah, he did great. He did fantastic. I think it's miraculous that we came in on 4:44. With I don't know if you know the implications of what 4:44 means, that there were angels around us, that reassurance and guidance was leading us, that we're on the right path. And I think that's just like a literal divine intervention to show us, we're doing the right thing.
Yeah, I was gonna talk
where
about that
we
too.
supposed to be. We were where we were
Yeah.
supposed to be exactly at the time we were supposed to be there. And Des did 4:44:29. I was 4:44:30. He was 4:44:31. It's amazing. And then I'm sure Heath and Solomon were like right in the 4:44 as well. We were all in the line. We tried to all put our hands up at the same time coming through the finish line. So it's
My goodness.
amazing photo finish. Not as
It
good as
was.
the first two guys, but
Oh,
well, our
we'll talk
personal,
about that
we'll take
later.
it.
Yeah. Anthony, how does that make you feel, just hearing that Jason, someone so important to you, saying that it was divine, it was meant to be?
It's no, it means a lot, man. You know, like Jay's been trying to get me to do this for years with him. And I've been like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, yeah, we're gonna do it. Yeah, I'll let you know. And just for my, this has been it was my 30th, my birthday was November 1st. So it was the night before the marathon. So I didn't go out or anything. I went to bed pretty early and I had like a brunch with some friends and we, just had like a little lunch at a spot I like in Queens um and then we went to I just kind of came home and rested and I went to bed and like I think about my 33rd year, like it's probably the healthiest I've been, ever in my life. Like I don't know, I just something kind of switched in me and I really started to prioritize my health and like my sleep and my um just every my fitness. I've always been a person that like I try to stay in shape all the time, but it was just something different about this year. um and I just feel like, anyway, to speak to Jason's point, like the divine intervention, this has been a really challenging year, and it's been challenging in the most beautiful ways. And I've had to make some hard decisions in this year that like decisions that were tough, just life stuff. And I've had to trust in a way that I don't think I've had to trust in the past, or maybe have been parallel to certain moments in my life, but or comparable rather, like, but this year was just like I had moments like, wow, God, like, dang, like, what's gonna, even this marathon, I'm like, yo, can I finish this? Like, can I even do this? And just along the way, I was explaining this yesterday at dinner with some friends. I said, yo, finishing at 4:44 and then like reading up. One of my friends is like, I gotta tell you about what 4:44 mean. I'm like, "What do you think?" So it's an angel number. It means like you got the angels around you and that you're protected and 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 it's to stay on the right path and to follow your instincts and I was like, wow, like that hit me really hard. But the race was like a microcosm of my life. Like at mile 8, I see my dog and my best friend Ron and his girlfriend. Right, mile 11, I see another friend. Then mile 15, I see a teacher from college. Mile 22, there's the whole. I want to pass out, and then like I see a cardboard cutout of my head, and then I see like a whole cheering section with all my best friends, my family, like oh my, like people, the closest people to me all lined up, and just all the angels that have gotten me, that are getting me through this race but have also helped me get through my
Yeah.
life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm seeing them, and I'm like, and then I'm also running with Jason, who like raised me. This guy like basically raised me, like was like a dad to me. He's running in front of me, like I'm following him the whole time. Next to me on my Des Garrett to the side of me. Angels, Jordan, who got me hooked up with Brooks, right? Who where this Brook partnership has been probably I mean, I love every partnership I've done, but this has definitely been the most meaningful partnership I've had
Mm.
with anybody in my life
Yeah.
because of what it has signified and what it has done for me this year, and like leading up to this moment, to completing this, and just like all these angels with me, and then to finish, and then the angel of them all, my mom, giving me the medal, my sister there, like them just being there at the end,
Mm.
like being like, yo, you made it.
Mm.
It's crazy, yo. It's bugged out.
Wow.
You're gonna get me crying over
See,
here.
Look, I'm
It's
trying to.
just,
I'm
yeah.
like, I
Jason
didn't
is
bring
Jason and
tearing
I are
up.
like,
tissues.
We're all
Jason's
tearing
tearing up.
up.
I'm tearing up. But it's incredible because 444 is said to be everything you said, but it's also said to be progress in decision making. And it's so strange that you talked about all those hard decisions that you've had to
Yeah,
make this year.
a lot,
A lot of
a lot.
decisions, and we're not going to pry into those. They're your personal decisions. But the only one I want to know about, though, is the initial decision to take Jason up on his offer to run this race. And what was the progress that made you say yes this time, that you're going to actually do
I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. I just kind of woke up one morning and I was like, I gotta find the text.
it?
Like, because the first text I sent was to my manager. I was like, yo, how do I get into a marathon? I don't know how to get into a marathon. Like, I don't know how to do that. I probably should have texted Jay first, but Jill, I text my manager. I was like, Jill, like, how do we do this? How do we get into a marathon? She figured it out. She hit up, she got in touch, I think, with you maybe Rob or somebody over there, and thank God I was able, you guys helped me out, and it was just like it became real really fast. It was crazy. It was like, all right, you doing this, and then the Brooks partnership came kind of like a month or two after that. It wasn't I didn't join the race particularly to partner with anyone. I was just doing it just for me. It was like a life goal I've been wanting to do for years. Like, oh, I want to go to Greece or whatever country, right? Like you have a goal. Like I want to learn how to scuba dive. Like I want to finish a marathon. I want one under my belt. And it was just I just yeah, thank God. I woke up that day and then it was like boom, it was started happening real fast. And then Brooks was like, hey, we want to partner with him. And I was like really great. I'm grateful and I was surprised and I was excited. And they've just been like the best supporters, yo. Like all the gear, like just the coaches, the gear, everything, just really like getting me as prepared as possible while I've been traveling. I mean, I'm talking about like, yo, the training was crazy. I was like traveling. I was in different countries, different states. I mean, I flew to Venice for 2 days. I did a midnight run when I got there.
Wow.
I looked at my Strava. I did a midnight. I got
Yeah,
to Venice. We did a cast dinner for the movie House of Dynamite that's out right now on Netflix.
it's great.
Everybody go see it.
It's great.
Uh, it's a wild ride. But we get to Venice, we do the cast dinner that night. I get back to the hotel and I'm chilling with my brother in the hotel room. I'm just like, dang, bro, I gotta go on this run right now. And my brother starts snoring and falls asleep. And I'm like, dang, I really want to go to sleep right now. But like
Uh-huh.
I like put my running stuff on and I just went out for a midnight run, running through them alleys in Venice. I don't know where I'm at. It's mad dark. And then and just like little things like went to a wedding in Colorado. I'm running in the mountains of Colorado. Like
What?
I'm in Puerto Escondido in Mexico. I was running in Puerto Rico. Like I'm gonna post a video of all the places I ran. I'm gonna do a
Yes.
video on Instagram, a cut of all the like I took little short 15-second videos and I took pictures. So I'm gonna work with my boy Rio, who does all my he helps me with all my video stuff, all my content. So, to cut that together, but we're gonna do that soon, like, cause it was just crazy. Like I be looking back on these videos and I'm like, dang, I can't believe I traveled so all that. I probably took the most flights this year than any year in my life. And you know, and I was able to keep running. I don't even know if I answered the question. I kind of went off on a
No, it was
tangent, but
great.
No, I feel like it's
uh
all part of it. And it's definitely,
yeah.
what highlights there. And that's probably to a lot of our listeners as well, who have maybe not that level of travel intensity during their training. But every single time your schedule gets a little bit intense, it's an opportunity to quit. It really is. You could have just been
100%.
like, I've got
Say
too
that
much
again.
going on. Yeah. Right? And we all have it. There's also, it's not maybe not just travel, it's just workload, it's family life, personal life. You took so many steps and so many more progressions along this journey because you went, oh, damn, he's snoring. I want to be snoring, but I'm going to go out and do this run. And you did that countless times in many different countries on many different time zones. And it's just so empowering, right? Doesn't it just feel like, yes, I can do anything? Because when you went to sleep that night, you're like, wow, I'm literally a better person than I was when I was sitting in the bed listening to my brother snoring.
Yeah. But shout out, like also shout out to my brother. Like I didn't even, he really,
Yes,
you know,
Mario.
did this. He was like, all right, you're gonna do it. Like I love my brother, man. He's just so like, he's like, let's go. We in this together. Let's do this, and like, and he wasn't running with the group, like, man, like I really like he was running on his own and he was like, man, like I got emotional at least 4 times on that run. And I just really like commend him on his mental toughness, man. Like, yo, my brother's always been tough mentally. He's always been an amazing athlete. And I really like it was just awesome. Seeing him cross the finish line was like incredible, yo. Like me, my sister, my mom being able to greet him at the finish line. And my mother, I took my medal off. My mother gave him my medal because you got to get your medal at the thing, but they only get so I was like, hey, just get, we're gonna do this moment again. Like this is fire. Like, like he's just he's a warrior, man. I really get a lot of that spirit, that mentality from him, you know. Watching him growing up and watching the way his work ethic and the way he was athletic, but he worked hard. He wasn't like out here like, yeah, I'm gonna just show up and I can do it. It was like, nah, it was like, no, I'm gonna work at it.
Yep.
He always worked.
Jason,
But yeah.
Jason, I have to go to you and just get your perspective on, first of all, you were there at the beginning for Anthony Ramos. I mean, it seems to me just from this conversation that Anthony is a very, very lucky guy to have a mentor like you. I mean, not everybody gets somebody like this in their life, a high school guidance counselor who, sees something. You saw something in Anthony at a young age that you helped you kind of push him towards the direction he took in life, going into the arts, which is why we all know Anthony Ramos today, the actor, the performer. What did you see in Anthony at that young age to make you believe he should pursue a career in the arts? And I'm curious also, what did you see in him during this marathon as well? And was there much connection between those things you saw?
Okay, that's a loaded question. His demonstration, his what he did in the school plays gave us a snapshot of the potential. Like I said, his other mentor, teacher, English teacher, Sarah Steinwise, my good sister and friend and colleague. We worked at New Utrecht together, and he was in the plays early on, probably by, if not freshman year, by sophomore year. I think you acted in your first play at the school. And each year, the progression of his ability and his honing that craft got better. And you can see it. And he was thinking baseball or whatever else. And he had a good friend named Jason Bigelow, who was a little actor as well and still is, and the three of us kind of nudged him in that direction. Like, no, baseball's nice, but I think you should be doing this.
Yeah.
I have
Miss
a
H
back.
too.
Yes, Miss
Say
H.
Miss Violette, yo, my
Oh,
Shakespeare
yes,
teacher.
yes,
This is my
yes.
only
Oh,
honors class. I was like, I didn't even have
Shakespeare.
good grades, but she put me in that class because she was like, yeah, you got potential.
yes, Miss
Yeah.
Violette, my other good colleague and friend. Yeah, we kind of all just nudged him in that direction. And it wasn't like he listened to any one of us. He listened to the collective and he took our advice. And then he applied for AMDA, American Music and Dramatic Arts Academy, and Sarah was able to get him a scholarship there. And I remember him being in the city and periodically asking me for money for this and for that. Even post
Bro,
AMDA rent
I was
and things like
broke,
that. He's like,
bro.
yo, Jay, can you help me out? I'm like,
Oh my
we got you,
gosh.
we got you, we got you. It speaks to community.
Mm.
It speaks to unity. You know, I'm a SAPist, so I hear you saying guidance counselor a lot, and I'm comparable to a guidance counselor. Kudos to the New York City Department of Education guidance counselors and all you folks. But I'm a SAPist, a substance abuse prevention intervention specialist. So I'm an addiction specialist. Anthony became one of many of students that sat in my office and that I counseled individually. Also, I teach classes, so I taught. Pushed into Sarah's English class and taught social emotional intellect, which I still do at Forest Hills High School in Queens. So as opposed to being in Brooklyn 15 years ago, I moved back to my home borough and have been at Forest Hills High School in Queens, the school of good old Peter Parker, for the last decade. And kudos to my folks at Forest Hills and to all the SAPists of the city of New York. So that was like the beginning of the journey. And then in the marathon, what is most amazing, Anthony lived in Bushwick. I lived in Bedford-Stuyvesant at the time. And we both went out to Bensonhurst to New Utrecht to school every day. And traveling to and fro, we ran into each other on the B38 bus, which runs down Lafayette along the route of the marathon. And I just reminded him of this like yesterday. And I remember seeing him on the bus and I was like, that kid goes to my school. And I said, what are you doing? I think it was like his sophomore year. What are you doing on this bus? Why are you all the way over here? He said, I live over here. I said, what do you mean you live over here? You go to New Utrecht. He said, we use my aunt's address. I gave away one of the secrets to the Board of Ed. How to get your child into a better school. But we would ride the bus to and fro. And it was like, what time do you leave in the morning? We'd run into each other and it just became a thing for 3 years, literally. We would pray together on the bus and train going to school. We would have Bible studies. It was really profound.
And you had that little silver phone with them headphones that were kind of muffled, yo. We used to be listening to worship music on the bus. I
All of
remember.
this, all of
Yeah, I
this.
used to
So
meet
it's
him on DeKalb Avenue, and then I knew I was gonna pass his apartment on the way.
Mm.
on the
And then
way,
sooner
on
or
the way
later
to
we
Oh,
started
school.
syncing up. I'd be like, all right, Jay, I'm on the bus. I just got on the bus. He'd be like, all right, bro. All right,
Mm-hmm.
I'm here.
What strikes me is, okay, this wasn't just any student advisor kind of relationship. I mean, this was really a deep relationship and it's kept going. I mean, here you are years later and such a big part of each other's lives, which I think is just phenomenal. And it's why we're all sitting here today, right? Because Jason's the reason, Anthony, or a large part of the reason that you took on this challenge of running a marathon. So you just don't see that every day, that kind of a
yeah.
mentorship relationship that lasts that long, Anthony.
Yeah. I mean, I'm grateful, man. He yeah, like like Jay said, he raised me, man. Like some days I come to school, I'd be broke. Him and Sarah, they would feed me, give me food, things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like Jay used to take me to Coney Island Boardwalk on the weekends. So that's where I learned how to dance on the
With
boardwalk
mom
in Coney Island. The
with the whole
DJs,
Yeah.
family.
the DJs they used to DJ from about 4 to 9 p.m. or something, or 10 p.m. or whatever it was. I remember it was DJ Ray Vasquez. Um, and he used to DJ in this gazebo that was on the boardwalk. And then it was just like all the OGs would be out there and they all be dancing and some they and it's this you see the same heads out there every weekend. And that's how I learned, like, I'm 16 years old and I'm watching these dudes dance and I'm like, all right, I'm like learning. And uh yeah, it was just kind of like how the evolution of the performance started to happen, and the dancing was meeting the singing was meeting the acting, and then it was all coming together, which led to me then going to musical theater school, which eventually led to me being on Broadway, and then all the other stuff that happened after that.
Unreal.
That's a journey. Yeah. Well, I mean, what a journey and what an
Yeah,
experience to have somebody to allow you to do that with real passion and real love,
yeah,
and continued to do it because clearly, as you said, many a time Jason's given you the opportunity or asked you to join him running the marathon, and it took a few years. But Jason, to your story, you had some unfortunate health issues back in 2024
Two.
to 2022, but you decided
22,
to
23.
continue training, and you were not going to let your spot go for the 2024 Tokyo Marathon. Is that right? You were like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to see this. And you ran it. You completed it. Congratulations. And yeah, I also ran it that year, so I feel you. It was a great year. What was it like for you though, as somebody who has had so much impact on youth, not just Anthony and his incredible level of success? Does that drive you to kind of continue going through those incredibly hard days, hoping to inspire some other youngster in a different position?
Yes. So I teach social emotional intellect. I'm teaching coping skills for life. I call it your toolbox of coping skills for all the lemons life throws at you. If you don't have a myriad, if you don't have a multitude of different methods to cope, different tools in your toolbox, life will overwhelm you and you will sink to the bottom real fast. As an addiction specialist and a social worker, kudos to Hunter College School of Social Work, this job chose me. I have a background in film and entertainment. I went to undergrad and wanted to be a producer, director. Never in a million years wanted to be an educator or work with kids. If I would joke back then and say, I've been to choke somebody's child. Still today, don't choke them, Jason. but the list of students that have come through my office is vast, is far and wide. Anthony is one of many. And I tell him this all of the time. You got a lot of brothers and sisters. My film and entertainment background, I think I come from a family of film and entertainers, as well as educators, that duality. I did my senior internship undergrad at Walt Disney, literally in Burbank, under Mark Jacobs studio productions. And I just knew my uncle was an assistant director at Disney back then and afforded me that opportunity. I got 15 credits towards college, towards my bachelor's from Virginia State University. I took classes at Cal State at Northridge. All of this, I think, I don't want to say I have the Midas touch, but I spot talent, I guess. And I'm able to see it. Even students from Forest Hills now that have gone to AMDA or going to NYU and are breaking into the industry now. It just has been a gift that I have to identify and spot that talent. So I need Jacobs, JJJ's talent agency under my belt or something like that.
Pretty well with clients like Anthony Ramos, absolutely.
So yeah, it just all kind of built up. So back in 2022, having a great year. I'm trying to think, did I even run? I think I ran New York. That was the last New York I had run.
Tough one that year.
And actually, no, I didn't run New York that year because in July or August, I had an unfortunate experience where I went to go to the bathroom and it was blood and not urine. And it was jolting.
Well, it's crazy. You was actually staying with me while I was shooting out there in Atlanta.
Well, check. This is before that. This is before that. So I'll lead up to that. This is before that. I'll try to give you the short version. I'm at Astoria Pool. I took my niece to the pool. We're having a great day. I'm swimming laps. I'm throwing her around. I go to the bathroom, a cup of blood. And I'm like, this can't be good. I went to the hospital that night out in Long Island. They basically, it cleared up by the end of the night, probably 2 or 3 in the morning. I'm in the emergency room. It cleared up and it wasn't blood anymore. So I was like, okay, this maybe, they had to send me to a specialist. I go to the specialist. He tells me, we can't do anything until you come back from vacation. Long story short, I go on vacation for 3 weeks. I went to Virginia, I went to Philadelphia, I went to Puerto Rico, and I ended up lastly in Atlanta. I ended up with him in his beautiful apartment as he's filming Ironheart, and I stayed with him for a week and a half. A good portion of that time were bloody nights, days, where for 3 or 4 days straight, my urine was straight blood. It was I don't wish it on anybody. And I got displeased with the system, the hospital system I was utilizing in Queens and Long Island. And he's one of my angels. And I called him and said, listen, I am not appreciating how I feel like I'm being passed around like a science project where I've had 3 urologists already in the same hospital system. Can you help me find something? Or I said to him, can you help me find the best? That's what I said. I said, I have a funny feeling your people can get access to people I can't. Find me the best. He hit me back within 2 hours with a Dr. Michael Pittman, who said, I want you to go to MSK, Memorial Sloan Kettering, and I want you to look for Dr. Iyer and Dr. Go. It took me days. They bugged me to make that call. I was in my flow. What happened? A switch went off, and all of my social work skills went into play for myself. I'm getting emotional because I'm standing in front of classrooms teaching kids mindfulness breathing and meditation and affirmations like I love me, I am present, I got this, this shall be a great day. I'm teaching them mudra, hand positions. I'm pulling every tool out of my toolbox, out of my hat. And sometimes I could be sitting in front of a class where kids aren't even responding. They're looking at me with blank stares. And I stood up there doing it for myself. I'm being my own social worker first. I'm being an advocate for myself first, and focusing on what I could do and being utilized as a tool and instrument for other people's healing, and focused on helping those kids get through what they were going through at that time. Nobody on the job even knew I was diagnosed with bladder cancer. And I had my first surgery in October, and 3 weeks post-op, I went back and she said, good news, we got rid of the tumor. Bad news, you have a very rare and aggressive cancer called plasmacytoid urethral that comes back and kills 5 out of 7 people. We need your bladder. And I've run marathons. And I said, you what? Like, all I saw was my dreams dashed on the rocks. Like, how am I going to be able to run anymore with a coloscopy bag or something to that effect? And I went through another surgery where the last doctor at Northwell Health did something called a scraping, and to determine that it didn't permeate through my bladder wall and metastasize into the rest of my body, which might be a very different story right now. And I started at MSK right after that in November. I went through 2 months of chemo. I went through a radical cystectomy. They took my bladder. They took my prostate. They took part of my large intestines and made me a new bladder called a neobladder, all laparoscopically within my body at the same time. It was scheduled to be a 10-hour surgery. And I told Dr. Go at MSK, I promise you I will be your best surgery ever. Mark my words. My prayer over his hands before I went into that surgery was accuracy, precision, and efficiency. And he came back and said, you are truly my best surgery ever. You are the mannequin I worked on in medical school. And it took him 5.5 hours of 10 to complete my surgery.
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
It took me 2 weeks of healing, and I was right on 68th Street. And we ran past MSK, where my surgery was, where Anthony visited me in the hospital twice. And I cried as I ran up the east side of Manhattan past MSK. And 11 months to the exact day, I ran the Tokyo Marathon, which I got in by the lottery.
Wow.
And I had to do a GoFundMe page to help me just finance that, because I was going through hospital payments and bills beyond my wildest imagination because of my health care concerns. Thank God for good medical. That's what we're fighting for today in America. Like literally, it made the difference, and it was surreal. Everything. Number wise is so literal for
Yeah.
everything that happened and the way it happened and the way things fell. And I remember running that Tokyo. I got approved by my urologist and by my oncologist
Yep.
to do Tokyo, and they said we would never let a patient do this. You are an anomaly, and you can do this, Jay. You are ready for this, and we give you permission and our blessing. So thanks to the good doctors at Memorial Sloan Kettering and Northwell Health. I have my
Shout
friends
out.
in Long
Shout
Island.
out to Memorial Sloan Kettering.
Because I'm here. I'm
You're
here. So this was
here.
my return to New York.
We're so
This was
glad
my
you're
return to New
here. We're
York.
so
And
glad that that went well. And thank you for sharing all
yeah,
that. I mean, that's just so much of.
I'm working on the book. So
That's right. It's going to be a heck of a book, no doubt about
yeah.
it. So, wow, such a real story. I have to ask before we go, on a lighter note, Anthony, Des Linden, how did that happen? How did you end up with Des Linden running with you? You're running beside an Olympian, a Boston Marathon champion. How did it happen? What was it like? And what role did she play in your marathon day?
I mean, Des just walked me through all the training, man, the whole time. Like she was, we were on a text thread, me, her, and Garrett. Um, and it was we were just there, just on this text thread. She's like, all right, this is what you're gonna do this week, every week, at top of the week it was on Sunday. On Sundays, I think she would hit me up and let me know what
How'd
I
you
was
first
doing for the
connect with her,
week.
Anthony?
I connected with her through Brooks, man. I mean, Brooks, she's been working with them for a while now, um and I connected with her and they were like, all right, these are gonna be your coaches, Des Linden, and then they're like, all right, she's done this, and that, and I didn't know anything about running. I didn't know anything about who won any marathon, anything like that. I was just like, I just joined. And they're like, all right, so you're gonna be working with Des and then Garrett Heath, and I'm looking and I'm like, damn, like these people are like serious. Yeah, I'm like, yo, she won? Um, like she was just honestly, I thought, yeah, I honestly thought she was just gonna be tough, and she was, but in a good way. Like she wasn't tough in a way like she was really patient with me. She was because there would be some weeks where I couldn't do everything she asked me to do. Like, she'd be like, you gotta run 5 times this week. I'm like, yo, Des, I can't run 5 times I can't. I ain't got five. I don't have can't run 5 times this week. I'm gonna run 3 to 4, and we're gonna hope that that's gonna suffice. But like I'm going hard. Like I'm like doing my best to do everything she's telling me to do. Um, and we got hooked up with Brooks, and I'm talking about, man, she's just so incredible, so supportive the whole time, walking me through step by step. One of the funniest things was like we were shooting one of the commercials for Brooks together in Central Park, and she's like, yo, bro, make sure you use the bathroom, because the one thing you don't want to do is be in the middle of the race and have to take a, because she's like, that happens to so many people, and you don't want to be
Right.
one of them. And I was like, okay, good.
Facts.
All right. Took her advice, and it was, TMI, sorry for the listeners, everybody. But I was like, yo, like she just, she's like, hydrate this much, or do this or do that, or like like even her last text to me was something like, what was it, her last text? Let me just look it up. But basically, she's like, next time you hear that little voice inside your head that says you can't, you have so much more to give. You can and you will. The city loves you. Thanks for letting us tag along for the ride. Hope you woke up with battered legs and a full heart. You're a marathoner
Mm,
now. And then the last part of the message is a coaching tip. It's like, get a massage this week, a gentle one. Take
that
some
part.
time off running for a bit, but if you can, do some short leisurely walks this week. It'll help shake the soreness out of your legs. Wear your medal today. but not the entire week. She's like, get
That
some
is
protein
brilliant.
back in the diet and a next couple of days for recovery purposes. But just like,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
She's
like
still with you.
still coaching me, still
Yep.
still with me, like race
True
is done, but she's
coach.
still, still with me. So Des again, just Des was so amazing the whole time, and I'm just so grateful for her. She's such an incredible human and amazing coach. And Garrett, uh, same. They were just honestly, they were really like godsends, angels. They were on the race giving me the gels when I needed the Des giving me candy. She had this pack of gummies and
Brilliant.
she's popping them, she's handing them to me. Like,
Yay.
yeah, like yeah, it was so dope.
That's
It
Wow.
the
was
way to
amazing.
do it. The inspiration. Okay, before we let you go, because we're taking up a lot of your day, you insinuated earlier, and I think Rob said you're not one and done. Can we confirm that we will be seeing you towing the line to another 26.2?
Yeah, I'm doing another one for sure. Yeah, I'm doing another one,
Yay!
You think New
100%.
York, or you think you'll go somewhere else?
I want to do them all. I mean, I want to do at least, I want to do like Berlin, London. I know Australia's got one now. I want to do
That's
Yep.
right.
Tokyo. I think there's one in China now. So I'm trying to like, I want to do like, we do a little vacation out of it. 3 weeks, two
Exactly.
weeks out in the spot. You know what I'm saying? Get my
Mm-hmm.
my runs in or whatever, and then but I post up, just travel, run during the week.
Yep.
But then like in that last week, you're only doing really like tune-up runs, so it really is like kind of a vacation, and then you do the marathon, and then
Then you celebrate.
chill for a
Hey,
couple days after and be out.
Bex and I
That
have
sounds
both
like
done it.
such a great plan. Yep,
It's a
it is.
great
It's a
way.
wonderful way to see the world.
That's right. A
Yeah,
great way to see new places. And
Yeah.
we've got officially somebody else now, new Anthony Ramos on the 6-star journey, as they call it at AWMM. So this has been amazing. Anthony, Jason, congratulations to you both.
Yeah.
Congratulations on
Thank
the marathon, on everything you've accomplished. Thank you for sharing so much with us today. And this is what it's all about. This is really what
Sure is.
this event is all about. Is yes, it's the running, but it is so much more. And you all both did a beautiful job of sharing what it meant, and what it means to so many. So thank you and congrats.
Could I say a special thanks to you guys at New York Road Runners?
yeah, 100%.
And one of your employees, Maria Romano, who is my coach for the Quicksilver Striders out of Queens, as well as your other employee, Juan Lopez, who actually played baseball with Anthony as a child.
That's
Who
right.
helped train me this season.
I saw him on the race.
Just met him, and I didn't even know they were a childhood baseball players together. So the irony, it's like
Cool.
you can't make this stuff up. You can't. So kudos to you guys at New York Road
Yeah,
Runners.
thank y'all for
Yeah.
just for giving us the opportunity.
And I look forward to many more things together.
Yeah.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Peloton is leveling up. With the launch of their Peloton cross-training series, they're redefining what race training can look like. Personalized cardio and strength that makes it easier than ever to achieve real results. Whether runners are building a base or pushing for a PR, Peloton meets them where they are, then helps them go further. Smarter training, stronger outcomes, all backed by expert instruction and performance insights. Ready to elevate your race game with Peloton? Head to onepeloton.com to learn more. Peloton, an official partner of the 2025 TCS New York City Marathon. Sandra Garcia's running story began in 1998 with the launch of New York Road Runners' free youth running programs in New York City schools. As a Harlem kid in that program, she raced city courses and even became pen pals with New York City Marathon legend Grete Waitz. Sandra is the founder of Encounter Your Potential, a marketing and DEI consulting firm, and she's recently rediscovered her joy of running. This past Sunday, she and her husband, Dwight Green, ran the 2025 TCS New York City Marathon together as part of the New York Urban League's charity team, raising funds for education and opportunity in the community that means so much to them.
Thanks, Rob. Sandra, welcome to Set the Pace podcast. How are you feeling? Mab, I'm sore, but I'm so happy to be here. I'm still coming down from the high of just running through all the boroughs of New York City, but still sore. My big toes are still feeling it.
The toes, I know, I can relate. I've done tough courses and marathon many times. I usually feel I'm about Thursday for Sunday race. Thursdays when I feel like I can get up without an assistant. So I'm pretty sure you're feeling a little bit better now, but you see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Correct. So I have basically another day to go before I can go down some stairs comfortably, is what you're telling me?
Absolutely. You did a great job, and just keep wearing that medal.
You're right. I should be wearing the medal.
Yeah. Let's get back to how you start running. What do you remember about running those NYRR youth races when you were a kid in the late 1990s with the then brand new NYRR Foundation?
Yeah. So that timing really also creates some information around age, because I don't feel like it was all the way in the 1990s. But it was my introduction to running. I actually don't remember what I was doing with my time before then. But the New York Road Runners Foundation came to my charter school at the time. And I remember that we would train over on Central Park North. There's a hill over by 110th Street, 109th Street. So that was our training ground. And
Right.
one of the things that is super memorable to me, like early training points, is light post to light post, because around this time of the year it starts to get dark. And that was the marker that we could see. And that is still a marker that I use today.
Pretty awesome to get to know your body and your pacing and sense of directions. Talked about some amazing stuff. The marathon legend Grete Waitz became your pen pal. What was like corresponding with a legend like that when you were a young person?
Well, the beauty of youth is that you sometimes don't even realize the reality of things. So now, an adult, I see what a privilege that was, what an honor it was. But she was so friendly, so warm, so approachable. And at the time, we were sending letters back and forth to one another. So I remember I could type the letters, which was also great practice. But then I would hand the written or, printed letter off to someone at the New York Roadrunners, and they would mail it out to Greta. And then it would be the same vice versa. So it was almost like Christmas, just the anticipation of receiving her letters and her communications. And sometimes she would send over additional things, not just a letter. I have some socks from one of her races. She would send me booklets and updates. So it was a beautiful experience that now in adulthood I get to appreciate, which then I was just communicating with someone who had ran the marathon many times.
That's amazing, to be able to be correspondence with a 9-time New York City Marathon champion at your fingertip, and some memorabilia that she would send you. It's just incredible to hear.
Right. I wish I could
Did
tell her now that I did it. I finally did it.
It's amazing. I'm pretty sure she'll be very proud of you. And I just remember when I used to live in Italy, I was corresponding with letter with my teacher and also my classmates. So without emails or FaceTime, all those things, they were really anticipation. And when they see it come, I'm pretty sure you were very excited.
Correct. Exactly.
Well, now that did anything go in from the letter that she wrote to you while you were running the TCS New York Marathon just a few days ago on this Sunday with your husband, Dwight Green?
Mm-hmm.
And did any of that advice or something happen? And how was that experience to run together?
Yeah, so we did run together. It was 2025 has been I say a year of milestones for our family. So my husband turned 50 this year. We have a 2-year-old. Well, he's almost 2 years old. So part of my running the marathon was to rekindle my love with running, but to also get back into shape for me. and athletic shape for me, which meant finishing the marathon. So there were various different reasons for why we did it, personal reasons. And it was amazing that we were able to do it together, because once the body started to question our decision, we were able to keep each other motivated and keep going. And what was also special, I'm a New Yorker, grew up in New
Nice.
York, and to be able to run through all the boroughs, one, I can't say I've ever done that, ever visited all 5 boroughs in a day, but to also follow the footsteps of many other people before me, including Greta, that was just phenomenal.
Just wonderful. What a big milestone. And for you guys to do it together in training and also doing the 5 bros as a New Yorker is a treat yourself. So congratulations. You're running a team NYUL for the New York Urban League. Why is supporting the cause important to you?
Again, I'm a native New Yorker, and the New York Urban League in particular has been serving New Yorkers for over 100 years and creating equitable opportunities for Black and Brown New Yorkers in particular. That was my introduction to running via the New York Roadrunners Foundation. I've been working with the New York Urban League as a program manager for their Equity Innovation Lab since 2021. And they've had a marathon team for a few years, and the stars were aligned this year. So it was perfect to do so. The city that I love, that raised me, for an organization that I've been able to create opportunity for, but that I'm super passionate about and super passionate about the work that we do. And also very similar missions to some regard to that of the New York Roadrunners Foundation as well.
Great work all around. And you just mentioned you have a 2-year-old and you're a full-time career as a business owner. How do you fit marathon training in your busy schedule?
Crazy town. Crazy. Craziness. By the way, he was present and he was waiting for mommy and daddy
Nice.
at mile 23. So we were able to see him. He took a little nap before we finally made it.
He gave you a little push.
Absolutely, because we were like, we need to get there. He's waiting for us and it's cold. We need to hurry up. But yeah, it's actually, it was crazy. You make a plan and then just be prepared to pivot and adjust and adapt as needed. I primarily ran during the day while he was in school. So we enrolled him in Montessori school. It's the only way that I could 80% be sure that I could actually get a run in and also allocate 2 hours, 3 hours to go out for a run, because I got myself a jogging stroller. We did do a run through Central Park while we visited my parents one weekend. But then I discovered he had allergies.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so it was a learning experience. But I also discovered a local road where I live. So it was crazy, a lot of unpredictability, but that also added to the fun of just getting to Sunday.
Just amazing. You're going to look back and say, how did I do that? But you have a very well-balanced life, and we're so grateful to have you here, and keep up the great work.
Thank you so much. It was an experience, and I went ahead and entered the drawing for the NYC half in March, because now a half seems like nothing. After running 26.2 miles, I can definitely do a half over and over again.
That's the way to do it. Do the full first and then go to the half.
Exactly.
Awesome. Wonderful.
Thanks for joining us, Sandra, and for being a member of New York Roadrunners. Now, to the final part of our show, today's Med Minutes.
I know we all loved getting the medals, all getting the camaraderie of races with people, talk about PRs and how we did, but sometimes the body needs a break. And don't be in a rush to get into competition. You know, sometimes after a marathon, especially for the elite runners, like we said, you're good at your last race. If you did really well, for example, win the New York City Marathon, you want to sign up for the next Boston Marathon or London Marathon right away because you're hot. But also you need to be able to rejuvenate your body a little bit. For me, it's always been, no matter what the race is, take 2 weeks off, 1 week completely off, and then the next week run every other day. I go for walking, I do yoga, I go for cross training as cycling or elliptical riding, and sometimes you just get together with friends for easy runs with friends, and to be able to just go. Don't worry about, I know some people say, don't take the wash. I like to run the wash, whether it's I ran 30 minutes, but I'm not worried about the pace. Just go out there, say, I'm going to, your routines that you have done in the past. I'm going to do the 4-mile loop, have the wash, but you don't have to worry about, I have to hit this time. Don't do that. And focus on people that are in your community. Sometimes we're so busy, so stern on doing our own ways. It's okay to let your hair down a little bit and join the community runs, and because they would appreciate you to see you and have fun with them as well. Curiosity is important of new routes. For me, I am always been stern about my routines, but it's only after I retire and say, let me see where this trail goes, or let me go out and back, because sometimes I like loops. When I get to the finish line, I don't want to have to add up, so I try to do as much as I can, out and back and things like that. But I love trying trails, be able to go out there and see something different, and go. Don't worry about the pace, just you're there with nature, and remember that recovery doesn't mean doing nothing. It means moving around, doing something that is like stretching or strength training, be able to just do something different, get away from running, but being able to help you do other things that can help you return faster. Don't lose the passion, even though keep your heart in it and your excellence to pursue something, and not just about time. It's not all about time. It's about getting out there, getting the most out of yourself, have fun, enjoy it. And sometimes you get 2 weeks, 3 weeks out of running, like, oh, I miss running. So that's a great thing to be able to just say, hey, come back renewed and re-energized.
All right, that does it for another episode of Set the Pace. I want to thank our guests today, Jason Jacobs, Sandra Garcia, and Anthony Ramos. By the way, don't forget to look for Anthony in Kathryn Bigelow's A House of Dynamite, out now on Netflix, and coming up in 2026, Ryan Murphy's The Beauty. And Becs, after talking to Anthony today, I will watch anything that he is in.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely. I'm a huge Anthony Ramos fan, and I can confirm A House of Dynamite is awesome. My mother-in-law actually told me to watch it, and I fully back you all putting your feet up after this wild weekend and watching that as soon as you can on Netflix. Again, thank you to everybody who helped make this weekend just through the roof awesome. All the runners, congratulations on training yourselves so well and getting to the finish line and helping make this a world record breaking marathon. Congratulations.
Congratulations, everybody. You did it. Can't be more excited for each and every one of you. So hopefully you've been joining us along the way. We've loved having you. Don't leave us now. Stay with us. We do this every week. So we'll talk you through your next race, whether it's a 5K or a half marathon. Please stay with us on Set the Pace. We'd love to have you continue your running journey with us. Thanks for listening, everybody. Enjoy the miles. We'll see you next week.